the first time we met to talk about this, went to Waco last week, and a minor rear end traffic accident, looked minor. And when they were separating the cars, his rolled away. He went to catch it or grab it, and it ran over his legs. But he's sore. He won't be doing his long morning walks for a little bit, but he's sore. But he's better. He's getting good.
Is he doing okay? Because I heard about that.
Yeah, I understand he is. It's just it's a bruises and bends and all this. And hey, what, he ain't young like the rest of us. So yeah,
and that was before SWAT, right?
Yeah, that was the day before.
On the way up.
So he missed it all. He got to eat. I saw he was eating everywhere there was to eat. He ate. Okay, I guess he missed the whole event though.
Yeah, I mean, when I was watching on Facebook all these folks posting these barbecue restaurants around there, and I think I've eaten. Look at me, I've eaten at all of them. But that's some of the best barbecue I've ever had in my life. And Johnny knows where to find those good chow places. He's always clicking on I'm here or whatever you do on Facebook to send out where you
checking in.
I'm always
found
jealous.
That button. I found that button. It's called check in.
Check in?
Check in is what it's called. Yeah.
Is it on Facebook?
Yeah, it's on the Facebook page. It's on your page, and you. I forgot exactly which way you got to scroll, but it's just one of the things that says check in, and it knows where you're at too, and it gives you a choice of whatever places that you're at, so it knows.
I think you have to have the location turned on, though, right, Billy?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not as computer savvy as everybody else.
Nettie,
I could call my grandkid. She'll tell me. Hey, go ahead.
This is Larry, and me and my wife attended SWAT for the first time, and we really enjoyed it. And my wife won a set of hollowing tools on the last night drawing from John Jordan.
Wow.
Very nice, Larry.
Does she share toys?
She said that was my Christmas present.
Oh, how nice. At least she knows where it should go. Great. Now, Tim said something, and Billy both said about passing out business cards. This year, doing the build up of the club, I bought a box of business cards from Vista Print, whatever. I've been doing it 20 years. And I bought those cards, and they're non-sponsored. In fact, there's nobody's name or number on the card. It is extremely generic, and it tells folks who we are, where we are, how to join, that it's free, et cetera, et cetera. And we had 6 members I mailed those packages to give those cards out at that show. And that's so we can grow, and we can grow in quality. There's no money here. There won't be any money here. I'll buy another box of cards before the next convention or symposium. And if you tell me there's a symposium we should have these at, we'll get there. We'll get them there. We'll get them to you. And there's nothing better than having a member tell somebody about it. No sales pitch, no hype, no magazine, no membership, just turning wood. Just that's what I love about SWAT. Really. I would sit in front of Ruth and Al's booth when it was Ruth, not ugly old Carl. But I sit in front of Ruth's booth. I did that 2 or 3 years and just talk to folks, just share ideas and stories and a little mini gallery, etc. And like Billy said, there were people that just walked in that didn't attend the symposium, because you can go to the sales floor and you go to the gallery, you can't eat, but you can do that at the symposium. And for folks a little pinched on bucks, that's a way to make the trip, especially if you live in, what do you call that, Northeast Texas? No.
Anywhere around Central Texas.
Central Texas, yeah. Be worth the trip. It is. All right. We have some things going on. Doug Miller asked me to do something. Doug, I have to find you because we're going to need your help tonight.
Hello, here I am.
All right, I got you now, bud.
I'm here. Okay, thank you.
What is that in the background?
Oh, preview.
Hold on, I'm trying. It's a preview. Cool. Are you doing that tonight?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, in a few minutes.
Dane asked me to do.
Awesome.
All right. Dane is on the road, and I didn't get the information from him. We talked about everything the other night, but not this.
That's what's up. That's what's on the agenda for tonight.
All right. Now we had an offer for another little mini demo. Short demo. Was that Jeff in Michigan? That
yes.
Said, all right, Jeff. Are you prepared to do this? If you
sure
wish.
thing. I just got to switch a camera.
All right, Jeff. I need to switch a camera too.
Okay.
And now I can do it. Spotlight for everybody. Here you go, folks. You can ask questions, but make no comments about how you would change what he's doing. This is our demonstrator, Jeff Walters out of Michigan. Go ahead, Jeff.
Okay, everybody. Last week I showed a whiskey smoker that I made that was inspired by Heather, who's on with us tonight. And I started selling these at an art fair a couple weeks ago, and they're doing pretty good. And so everybody wanted me to demo it, and I just wasn't prepared to do that. So I've got it tonight, and I just got to switch my camera here. There we go. Can everybody see that okay?
We got it.
This is my own personal unit. It's been used a little bit. So start out with a little bit of liquid life. And I'm going to use cherry shavings tonight. I like cherry, hickory, and oak are my three favorites. And this is the brand I get. I get it off of Amazon, as a matter of fact, and it's very finely ground up, so it fits in perfect with these. So we're going to load it up. Put it on top. Then I use a 3-burner torch cigar lighter. That pretty much guarantees you get a good smoke. And then watch down there.
Holy crap. I didn't know what you were doing. I just figured it out.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Now the people who do this, I learned about this about a month ago at a bar. And the people who do this swear that it changes the flavor of the whiskey. I don't know if that's the case. I think for me, it's more of the combination experience of smelling the smoke and tasting the whiskey. And that enhances it. So I'll set this out of the way. And
does the smoke take on the smell of the whiskey when it comes out of the jar, out of the glass?
Yes and no. Like I said, it's a combined enhanced experience. Hold on, I'm having trouble with my camera here. There we go. Okay. So there it is. And
now I know why you want to do the demo.
Yeah, I have a reason to have it now.
Did you do that part again? I need you to do that part a couple more times. I missed something.
Do you really want me to smoke it again?
No, I'm just messing.
Oh, okay.
Is there a screen or something on the bottom of that to keep the ashes from falling?
I'll get one of my regular ones here. There is a screen that's used for people who smoke pipes, and it gets used a lot by people who make pipes. But it's just a little screen cup, and it's about 3/8 of an inch deep.
Okay.
And it just sits in there beautifully. And when it cools off, about 15 minutes, you just turn it upside down on a napkin or something and tap it, and all the stuff comes out. What doesn't come out, you can take a toothbrush, or the kit I have has a brush in it to clean it out, and it's ready to go again. And I was stunned by this when I first saw it at a bar, and I went up and talked to the bartender, and he says, we sell these all day long and an extra $2 a pop.
And what is it called?
It's a whiskey smoker or bourbon smoker.
Okay, I was curious. I'm going to pass that on to some of my
Or whiskey chimney, some people call it.
Or whiskey, yeah, someone call it chimney. They're all over Etsy. I was surprised to see that, but they're all over Etsy. This is just my own little thing. Heather posted something that I didn't catch on chat while I was doing this.
She said she got the idea from Robert Hodge.
Oh, okay.
I don't recall seeing Robert's video on that. I've seen all of his videos, I think, but I don't recall seeing that one. But with my memory, you know, that's nothing.
Yeah.
But well, I posted a link to Heather's video, an outstanding video on how to turn one of these. So
yeah. And as a matter of fact, you all know who Ron Campbell is, and he does a retreat every year in June. And I sent an email to him asking if he would like me to run a class on how to make these and also make tea lights, which I make a lot of tea lights. And he posted back, he says, yeah, he would be very interested in that. So I'll be applying for that. And hopefully next June, I'll be teaching them.
Oh, that's cool, Jeff. I'm planning on trying to make it up there. So I'll see you.
Oh, that would be awesome. I'll be tracking you down, my friend.
Well, Jeff, you could just gather up your shavings from your shop instead of buying them.
Well, yeah, you could do that. I've had people ask me, where do you get the shavings from? And I tell them where I get mine. But, you know, literally, I know people now that do this, and they just get the regular shavings from the store they use in their smokers and put them in a coffee grinder. So, which is a lot cheaper.
For your hickory, you can also keep the shavings from that you turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you can sell them. That's a twofer.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for ways to fund my shop.
So every time I turn apple, cherry, hickory, I save him a bag of chips for his smoker. And then he invites me over for some beautifully smoked brisket.
Nice.
Ooh. There you go.
You got the good end of that deal, brother.
Yeah, you did.
So, but that's my whiskey smoker in a nutshell. And
that's neat. Thank you.
That's
very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. All right. We're turning here to saving, folks. If you'd like to join in, please do so. We're going to have another demonstration in about a half an hour, and that'll be Doug Miller's going to be handling one. Looks like he's ready to play a little pool in our club meeting, and we welcome that kind of input. If you have something you like to show as a demonstration, we invite you to do so. And it doesn't take a lot of equipment to do it. In fact, I have one of these, and you probably have one too, but that's my good-looking wife on it. And you can shoot those demos with a cell phone. All right. In the meantime, we have a couple of folks wanting to show something, and I gotta go. I think it's Tom Kenny said he's got an item to show. Tom, can you talk to me? If you talk to me, I can find you.
I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Now we got you, bud.
Very good. Start off with, I have a tool question. A friend of mine passed last year, and his sister's liquidating his estate, and I bought a toolbox full of stuff. And this was in the toolbox, and I can't get it to focus. It says Pittsburgh on it. It says 3 to 10 millimeter grip. So I sent this to a friend of mine, and I said, do you have any idea what this is for? And he said, yeah, it's for gripping.
Pull it back. Pull it towards your face. There you go.
Let me turn this.
Much better.
And there are no moving parts to it. It's just this plastic handle with these metal teeth in there. And I have no idea what it's for. I took the picture to Google.
Maybe.
No.
It could be a thread cutter, no?
No, the top of it is like hex nut, and then there are little serrations, which I assume is the 3 to 10 millimeter part of it. And it's not flexible.
I think that is one of those Harbor Freight, because that's Pittsburgh normally.
Yep.
Multi-purpose wrenches, so it probably fits the nut going from 10 millimeter down to 3 millimeters. So what you would do is just slide it up over the top of it, and then be able to turn the nut because it's got grip by 3 sides. That's my guess.
But it's up so far, though. I mean, it's up an inch off the bottom. I don't know how you can reach the nut.
Exactly. From this end, it's about an inch up, and from this end, it's about 2.5, 3 inches up. But
does that center section slide forward or backwards?
No, there are no moving parts. It's all fixed.
Strange.
So it's got
Sorry,
me stumped.
that was my guess.
And someone else
could be a thread cleaner. It could be a thread cleaner. You know, to chase threads. That would make sense of it being recessed in like that. Then it could just catch whatever thread that it needed to catch.
That's possible. I'll give that a shot. Someone else suggested like a rope or a cable lock. So I'm going to mess with that too. But
yeah, it kind of looks like those deals they use on the cable to undo the
wire stripper. Could be a wire stripper.
Yeah, possible. Anyway, got a couple things to show tonight. Last week I talked about some mimosa, and this is another piece. And this was a mimosa crotch. And you can see where the two branches, there's one over here, there's one over here, and then this is the crotch part. And I got it situated so that the feathering went all the way up through it. And it's about 9 inches in diameter and about 3 inches tall, little hollow form.
Pretty
beautiful.
Thank you. And last week, Billy talked about having a piece of spalted maple, and I did the exact same thing. I put this in cactus juice, and I estimate I've got about $35 worth of cactus juice in this, but it did turn out quite nice. And I was able to laser engrave the base of it. But
that is beautiful.
It really made it, I mean, it feels like Corellware or something. It is just rock hard now. And it was so punky. I turned it to about 1 inch in diameter and soaked it pulled it under vacuum in the cactus juice, and then baked it, and then turned it again and was able to salvage it. But prior to that, it was so punky, it was lost cause.
Wow.
And the last thing, thanks.
Oh my.
This, I never name any of my pieces. I always admire when I look into magazines and people have fancy names, but this is the one thing I named. It's called the wing thing.
That's cool.
And I was out turning. Back in those days, my lathe was right at the opening of the garage door, and a pickup truck backed up the driveway. It was a buddy of mine from the wood turning club, and he said, "You need some firewood?" I said, "Sure." So he unloaded a load of oak, and I just picked it up off the pile and put it on the lathe. Had no plan what to do with it, and just kind of made it up as I went along. I put it between centers, and I turned it to this kind of a cigar shape. Then I turned it around and put it between centers this way, and I turned a recess and shaped the bowl, and then also removed the bottom half of the wings. Then I turned it around, grabbed it in a chuck, and hollowed out the bowl. And I kept stopping as I was going along, and it was not planned, but it came out with this neat little rim. I kept turning until I got the shape I liked. And it does absolutely nothing but gather dust, but it's kind of cool. People always ask, "How'd you do that?" That's how I did it.
There's a lot of ideas or things you could do with something like that. I mean, to do something similar to that, not just similar, but
that is
my mind's just going crazy right now.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, amazing.
The one thing I know to do with it is wipe the dust off it about once a week. That's all it does is gather dust.
Fill it with M&Ms.
Those are the best ones.
Yeah.
That's what I got for this week. Thank you all.
Very, very nice, Tom.
All right, Tom. Some beautiful work we're seeing here this evening. Wow. If you got something like to show for gallery tonight, say so. I'm short our co-hosts that normally handle that. But I have a lot of volunteers out there. And somebody will step up and say, "Okay, I'll take charge of that." Wait a minute. He might be in here. Hold on. Is he here?
Well, I'm here, but I can't do anything. I'm driving.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's quick.
Is Brenda not here?
Brenda's not here and Sue's not here. Doug's doing a demo tonight.
Oh, darn.
Yeah.
Right. Well, crap. She said she'd take care of it.
That's okay.
So,
We're gonna...
is there anyone out there that would like to take on the gallery master duties for me since I'm not here tonight? Doug can't do it because he's demoing. Dean, do you think you can do it?
I can certainly give it a shot. Somebody will make me a...
It's coming. I thought you were a co-host.
No, I don't think I'm listed as a co-host tonight.
I gotta get you up on a different program now.
And I gotta change my view so I can kind of see who's.
All right, now you're in the co-host package. All right, for new members,
just flip through the comments, Dean, and make sure you capture everybody that's already entered their. I want to show my piece in chat.
Okay, and how do I highlight somebody or?
Okay, if you introduce them, Nate, and go ahead.
Go ahead, Doug.
Oh, well, she couldn't get out. I had to open it a little further.
Okay, hold on. You got to get that one out. Dean, if you see somebody puts it in there, like Dean Grimes says, I have something to show, then you introduce them and they start talking. You'll see them in the gallery and you click on them and they'll come up and it's spotlight for everyone. And then they'll be on it and they get their own time on the screen and they get their own audio on the screen.
So if I, let's
So
see.
you go to participants. So you introduce them, and then so the individual is supposed to start talking, and what that will do is elevate their profile within the participants list to the top, and then you'll be able to see right away because their little mic volume level is going on. So that's why we say to the members when you get introduced, start talking. That way we can find you easier because it puts you to the top of the list.
Gotcha.
All right. It's kind of a rudimentary thing, but we get to do this. We're using somebody's
okay, I
license.
got it. I see where you spotlight them or pin them now. Okay.
Yeah. All right. If you spotlight them, then they come up. But you're talking, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to spotlight Dean and say, "You've got something to show tonight, Dean."
I do have something to show.
Did you pin him, or what did you hit? I'm still trying to figure this out.
I hit spotlight for everyone.
Okay,
that's not
good deal. All right. So Tim was talking about his new little chuck, and I just wanted to share this as some that I made for the family, just real quick deal to make with that, Tim. And basically you do cut the hole, chamfer that, and then offset it again to do the little strips there. And those girls went nuts over these things. And, that was years ago. And I'm still seeing them wearing them all the time. So they just didn't tell me they liked them and put them away. They liked them and they wear them.
So Dean, those swirls that are cut in the side, it must be, is it thicker on that? Turn it sideways?
Well, you just don't, actually,
okay, I see.
It's not very thick.
How do you cut those?
Probably 3/16 thick at the thickest point, which would be right here in the middle.
So it's tapered? That's how you're able to cut that and not cut the others? Okay. There is no other side to cut. Never mind. Okay. That was a stupid question. Okay.
No question stupid except the one you don't ask.
Did you show the chuck? Did you show the chuck, Dean?
Tim had shown a chuck that he bought earlier. Maybe we can get him to come back on and show the chuck again, because mine's out there in that shop and I could probably find it, but
yeah.
While I'm up, I'll show a couple
of boxes here. I packed it all up. So. 1 second. Drag it out.
I'm surprised that guy can drive with an Ohio State shirt, drive and talk at the same time. It's pretty good.
Okay.
Hey, I can click on the
autopilot.
I can hit it to let people win it.
So Tim should be popping up if he's saying there's Tim.
All right. So the chuck I got has this. This is your bottle stopper manual, and that's the base for the chuck that fits in the mandrel. So you can screw it in the center position, and that'll give you the center on center. Okay. If you take and rotate it to the number 2 position, that's that one right here, just off center. Now when you're turning it, as I sling it on my cell phone, now when you're turning it, it's doing this on the rotation. So it's going offset.
And that's where those offset grooves came from.
Right. And then it has additional positions. So the further out you get, like that's position number 2. If I went to position number 4, I'm going to get a even bigger offset, and so on and so forth. It's got about, I think, 9 positions or so. It also comes with this other face plate that you can mount to it, and some mounting screws or a little woodworm screw in there. The black screws you're seeing in the bag actually attach this chuck to this other piece. So if you wanted to for instance, use a screw chuck, let me dump all this stuff out of here real quick. If you want to use a screw chuck, you just mount the screw in the center and then take these little black screws and screw them into the faceplate here. And your faceplate has, you know, there's 4 of these little black screws that go with it. Once this is all screwed together, now you can take your piece that's on center and you can either spin it on center by going to position number 1, or you can start doing your offsets and get those offsetted turnings.
Whose chuck is it?
It's one of the Ruth Niles ones. Carl Jacobson has taken over Ruth Niles' business, from my understanding, and he was selling them up there at SWAT. If you look at the very beginning, I gave you a link to the SWAT, basically what was happening during the weekend and who was doing what. There is a list of vendors listed there, and you can go to their sites and you can visit their website and see the products that they offer. But that chuck also comes with 3 different sized little face plates that can screw in. So you're screwed into the center on the chuck itself, and then these, you could use this as a glue block. You could use it with double face tape and screw it in, and it does the same thing. It'll screw in. So if this chuck is screwed in using little nylon washers to offset it a little bit, I can take this face plate and I can screw it in the front, and now I can mount a piece of wood to that by way of double face tape or glue, you know, if I'm using hot melt glue, and then I can do my offset turnings by position from the center, you know, move it over to the next location. Maybe I want to go out here. Maybe I want to do one of Joaquin's trees, you know, on a glue block. That would maybe work for it. You still have to have tailstock support, so it doesn't come flying off. But that's going to be something that I'm going to try as one of Joaquin's trees on that, a smaller version for like a Christmas tree ornament. So, you know, not the big stuff he was trying.
You got some little mini faceplates with that too, didn't you, Tim?
Yeah, so the mini face plates, and then it also has, you know, you've got that screw there that you can use for screw chuck, or it also comes with 4 little, look like little #1 screws that can screw into that in the center. So you got your screw chuck there in the center, then it's where those 4 screws can go in if you want to use it to screw it in as a faceplate.
Called the joiner off-center jig on the Niles website.
There you go. That's what it is.
And Gerald put up a link to that.
I could not remember the name of it. I apologize, but so it's a great little rig.
Joiner off-center jig. Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
Joiner off-center jig.
Thank you.
They're also called eccentric.
Great little chuck. And you can have a lot of fun. It doesn't take a lot of material to have a lot of fun. As Dean showed us earlier, he did some little pendants that you can turn. Hey, Christmas is coming. It's right around the corner. And if you need to if you really want to give away some nice trinket type toys to the young ones, the girls in the family, this is a big hit. And because of how you're doing it, pretty much no two come alike. So the variety is really great. I've had a lot of fun with it. And oh yeah, by the way, if you do bottle stoppers and you want to put offsets on the tops or the crowns, or even offset the bottle stopper, this rig, this complete rig, will really allow you to do it easy. I mean, easy. So get one, play with it a little bit, and
no, they're great.
Yeah, they really
Captain,
are.
I think we got Bob Greenstead that wants to share something.
I see Bob.
Yeah.
I saw pop up
Yeah,
there. There he is.
Yes.
There, thank you.
All right. Yeah, I've made several trees, in the past, and decorated them different ways. This one here, I put little bulbs on, just dots, but that turned out pretty good. And this time I decided to try something a little different. I don't like to carve, but I did do this one, and it turned out pretty good. It's
yeah,
oh, I like that.
That's great.
For a pretty little tree. It's different. It's just a repeatable pattern. Every other row of limbs here has the same pattern in it going up, and just basically a V and then 2 little V's on the side, and then you skip this one, you come up to this one, you do it again, skip that one and go up to the next one, do it again, and then rotate it. It goes 6 times around it, and you put it on an indexer and kind of chalk it out and index them. But anyway, that was fun. I used a cutoff wheel so it burned it, and at first I thought, well, I don't know if I like that burnt deal, but it did darken it. So it stands out better than just a saw blade. But,
sure does.
Yeah, almost
Bob
looks laser
Moffitt,
cut.
can you make a little birdhouse to fit on that, Bob Moffitt?
Well, that's a good idea. Maybe even a little bird to go with it.
Yeah, there you go. All right, that's it, guys. I just wanted to show you my
Nice,
new
Bob.
Christmas tree. Yeah,
That's great, Bob.
thanks.
Beautiful, Bob.
You got something to show tonight, folks? Go to the chat and say I have something to show, and we'll get right to you. In about 5 minutes, we're going to go to Doug Miller for our demonstration this evening. And I just got a note that said Martin Clarkson's back in town. He could pop up for a demonstration. We rely a lot on on the same group of members to do demonstrations. Let's expand that group. Let's get you in there. If you have a trick, a tip, an idea, something like that, that's worthwhile. We want to share it. And I mean, just now Tim showed us that Chuck from Ruth Niles that joined our offset chuck. And I see it's already in the NilesBottleStoppers.com thing on from Jim Selby on our chat. Save the chat before you leave tonight.
Hey, Captain, there's one thing I'd like to add to that. And there's a lot of folks on here that have never done a demo. And every one of us kind of think that everybody else knows exactly what we know and everybody else can do what we do. The reality is everybody on this call is unique and you do it different than probably most other people. So everybody has something to share.
They really do. And it might be a trick or a tip or something like that, but it's well worthwhile. I go away every week with a notepad full of notes from what I've learned here on this program. Look, yeah, there he is, copycat. I knew he's a copycat. Y'all told me he was, and there he is.
There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
But
I've normally got a book. I've normally got a book sitting there beside my table where I'm usually watching at, and I can just flip that open and write down any notes that I want to take down, and it has come useful several times.
Yeah, it really, and that's what we do, folks. Beating the drum on it, that's what we do. And I'd like to have input from every single member every single week if we can get it. That's why we do the gallery. Really, I want to see what you came up with. I don't want to see what you copied like Dean does. I want to see what you came up with. Now, if I want to see somebody copying something, I go to Bob Moffett. We tease a lot with these folks, and we'll tease a lot with you. We absolutely mean no harm. We have a couple of rules. One of them is be kind, be civil, no profanity, no religion, no politics. It's pretty general. If you can't talk about it in church, you can't talk about it here. We're on the tailgate out in the parking lot telling lies, sharing stories, techniques, and galleries. And this is where we wanted to go. Now I'm going to go to Kentucky. Yes, Kentucky. And I'm going to invite an old member of ours. Doug Miller is going to do a demonstration tonight. Here's a demonstration pre-warning, folks. Doug is handling this demonstration. If you wish to ask questions of Doug, please feel free to do so. We would rather not have you say, you know what I would do, but let's let Doug do his demonstration first, and then it's open field. All right, Doug, what are we doing tonight, sir?
All right, I've got a board here on the lathe with 4 of my pool ball boxes. The 3, the 10, and the 4 all have their lids on them. The 15, that little lid got lost somewhere in the last move. So I'm going to have to make a lid for that. And as I was looking at these the other day, the 3 particularly is chipped on the edge, and so the lid is. And so I'm going to redo. I'm going to make a wood one. I told Dean a month, 6 weeks ago that I would do this. That was mentioned. It was brought up in our discussion right here in the meeting, and I showed the 4. I think I showed it, and Dean immediately texts me and then calls me the next day, and I want you to do that. Dane. And we said, yeah, Dane. We said, excuse me.
It's Dane out there reminding you that it's Dane.
Yes, Dane did it. It's his fault. Yep. But anyway, we want to do this for you tonight. I told him I needed to get some practice in, so I did a little practice piece yesterday. There's a little 5 ball with the wood lid, just a solid wood lid. You can see there it is hollowed out. One thing, let me see if I can get it up here where you can see it. You see the white dot on the inside? That's the inside of the 5 on the other side. And I did not realize until I started doing these, where that 5 is upside right, if I spin it directly around, the 5 is going to be upside down. That's so that no matter on where it is on the table, you should be able to see the number. But anyway, it doesn't cause really any problems, except it does create a front and a back. The lid, it indexes very nicely. It's not a pop fit by any means, but it does sit there right nicely. That one happens to sit very well, fits real good. So let me get these out of the way, and then we'll talk about holding. Eddie's thing has always been, if you can hold it, you can turn it. Well, we got to hold this pool ball, and it's round. How are we going to hold it? We talked about it a little bit with the bowling balls. I can see this same kind of a chuck working for the bowling balls. It just has to be a lot bigger. What I've got here is a piece of mahogany. It was a piece that was just laying around in my shop several years ago when I first started doing these. Well, first off, I turned it around and I turned my tenon on the back end. You can see, if I get everything on, you can see the marks where I was marking center and whatnot, and I missed just slightly, but it doesn't matter because we're going to make it round anyway. But anyway, I've got my tenon, turned this outer part round, and then I hollowed it out in the center so that it would hold a pool ball. Tonight we're going to use a number 1. You can see it drops in there real nice. When I first started doing these, I had another little piece that I would drop in here because you have to start it off, do the bottom, and then you turn it over, do the top side. Well, I had a piece that I put in here to space it out just a fraction. I have looked this shop upside down, and I cannot find it. So we're not going to worry about that. There is a workaround for doing that. Let me start off by putting this in the chuck so that we can free up my hands from that. So there's my holder in the chuck. There's been a whole lot of discussion on the internet about chucks and about record power versus Axminster versus everybody else. This is the original Nova chuck. It uses the Tommy bars. There's the basic one. There's the one that holds the backside with the crook on it. Get where you can see it. There you go. That's what I'm using here. I've got one of the G3s that I really like. But I don't find I need it that often. It's got the larger jaws that have the shark's teeth all the way up and down. Anyway, Nova chuck. This is my homemade ball chuck. And what I'm going to do, luckily with the one, it doesn't matter. If it's straight up and down that way, turn it around, it's straight up and down that way. So what we're going to try to do is get that centered on the equator. And what I can do is kind of hold it and turn and see if I've got about the same amount, and I don't. There's about halfway on that one. Okay. It drops down just ever so slightly more than halfway. Then I want to make sure that number is straight up and down as possible. That's what I've got right now. But if I let go of that, that ball is going to fall out. How do I hold it? That's where these come in. The simple hose clamps. These are not terribly expensive. If you're going to try this, I would suggest you get the better ones if you can. The reason being, these do break from time to time. Oh, and I didn't talk about the slots. Let me undo that so you can see those slots. It's kind of like a castle. Well, once I got that inside hollowed out, I went over to the bandsaw, just laid it on the bandsaw, went straight in, turned it just a little bit straight in to cut the two sides. Did that, made slots all the way around. Seems like I drilled it maybe. Kind of looks like I did right there. Yeah, you can kind of see the bottom of that slot is round where I drilled a hole. So I just cut the sides off to make I wasn't even real careful about making it real good and straight. I just cut them, let them be. They are what they are, and I'm not too worried about it because all we're using it for is to clamp this ball into this jig. Okay, that's relatively straight there.
Yeah, those work like collet chucks.
Yeah,
and they
it's
work
the
great.
Same idea.
You can even make them out of PVC.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. At the time, I learned this. I learned this from the guy. He lives out in Arizona, close to, well, he lives outside of Phoenix. And I'll be doggone if I can remember what his name is. That's been several years ago now. I was out there for a meeting, and a group of us wasn't from Wood Central, but from another internet group that was meeting at the time, Woodturners Resource. I think they're still around. I'm just not involved with them any longer for various reasons. But anyway, went out there, and this guy had been doing tons of these billiard ball boxes. And so knowing I was going out there and knowing he was going to come to this gathering, I said, can you bring your stuff and show us how to do it? And he brought all his stuff, and he did not give me any of it, but I sure got to see it firsthand, and came home and rigged all this up myself. And trust me, guys, this is the hardest part of the whole thing right here with this jig. If you had a regular, probably if you did it out of PVC, it'd be simpler. All right, I think I got it now. You got to make sure you hold that ball in as you tighten, because it will squirt it right out. I've got a little divot at the base of the inside of this jig, so it sits down in there real nice. There we go. That's tight. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot. I showed you the little wing bowl last week. I did buff that on the buffing wheels, and it did not work. So I basically sanded it all back with 320 sandpaper, and then redid it. That's got about 20, 25 coats of lacquer on it now, front and back. So it shines like new money. That was kind of the point of that one. All right. Enough of the bragging. First thing we got to do, we got this in here. Let's see, let's go the other way. Well, first thing I got to do is tighten this lock nut. I've got to get some Loctite and put on this hold down nut. It works its way loose every once in a while, and if I forget to tighten it up, it will. It won't fall out on me, but it just gets where I cannot tighten it at all. All right. I'm on. I'm going to turn the lathe speed down really low to like 150 just to make sure we're in and spinning. All right, that's not too bad. Get my face shield on. A little air to blow the dust off. There we go. Now, first thing I want to do, I'm going to take my small parting tool. This little bitty dude came out of a mini turning set. Now that I got that already, I want to turn that just a little further. Make sure those buckles don't hit the tool rest. You'll know it if you do. And I've got it, just for sake of argument, I've got that running at 950 currently. And all I'm going to do, I'm going to take just a slight inward angle, and I'm going to part the, no, I got to remember what I'm doing. This is the bottom. I'm going to part it off just a little lower than where I was. Still got a slight inward angle. And just to get me started on this particular one, I'm going to take my bowl gouge and very gently, I want to come in here and just take this off. There we go. This is, for you guys that turn resin, this is a lot like turning resin. You get a lot of streamers. This is a resin. I don't know it's the same kind of stuff like what we cast and turn, but it is a resin. if you do these things, what you'll find is that there are pool balls differ from set to set. Depends on how old they are, really. This is a more modern set, and so it's going to be more like a epoxy resin. What I understand is there are some that actually have plaster on the inside. All I'm doing here, I'm making sure I've got just the tiniest of little foot. I want a foot on here. This is concaved in here. I'm going to concave it just one more pass. Another reason I kind of need a spacer because it causes it to drop down into the jig even further. There we go. I'm done with the bottom. So what I'm going to do now, as bad as I hate to, because I don't want to turn on my dust collector or my air cleaner, either one. Air cleaner wouldn't be so bad, but my old Craftsman shop vac that I use for my dust collector is so loud. That's what this is right here. And it does a very good job. I had been thinking that I was not getting very good dust collection out of it. Was doing a little cleanup here just a little while back. And for whatever reason, I stretched that hose out with it running. And lo and behold, there was something inside clogging it up. Makes a world of difference when you get out that hose clean. Now,
yes, I picked up a tennis ball with mine.
Oh, that'll clog it. I've had people ask me before, why do you sand the whole ball? You know, if I'm not changing the shape, but why would I change or sand the whole ball? Well, let me tell you guys, I don't know where this pool ball's been. I know where it's been for the last 10 years. It's been in my possession, but before that, I have no clue. And so I'm going to get all the grease and the grime, crud, who knows what else off of there by a sanding process. Keeping my hands clear of that hose clamp and the buckles. Don't ask me how I know. I think it was Dean Grimes told me it hurts.
Yeah, that's Dean. Dean told you that.
That's it.
Glad
that was 100 grit. What's that?
Glad I could help.
There you go. I bet we've all done it one time or another. I tell you what.
Exactly.
I've done some dumb things.
Well, that's where Dean got that nickname, Three Knuckle Dean.
That's it. Something like this, it would just about take your knuckle off. Like I said, I've got this going at 950 right now. If you stuck your knuckle in that, it would hurt. Pretty sure it'd draw blood.
Well, that's what Sue was talking about last week with loose fitting clothing. Loose fitting clothing in that rig would not go along.
No.
Well, you notice my sleeves are short. I've thought so many times about getting a long sleeve smock, and then I changed my mind real quick. I get to thinking of that long sleeve getting stuck. All right, 240. We're not going to take a long time with this. As you can see, the dust is coming off.
I'm sorry, I hit a dead zone and missed what you did there. What did you turn on the bottom?
I'm sorry?
I went through a dead zone and I missed what you just turned on the bottom there. Did you put a tenon on there or a recess or what?
No, this is just a foot. I turned a little hollow foot. Well, it's not even a tenon. It's not big enough.
Just a light concave.
Yes, okay. Very light concave. Just so it'll sit flat when I turn it back around.
Okay, got it.
Now, one of the things you can do with these things, guys, is you can take them with each step. You can take them all the way up, even do your micro mesh, wet sand with micro mesh. You may have noticed that jig was discolored, looked like it had glue on it. I don't think it has any glue. It has a lot of water on it. From where I have micro meshed in the past, and you really don't need any finish. This resin is very shiny on its own. So that orange one has not even been waxed. So they shine up pretty good without much effort. Okay. Now, see if I can show you this when I get it out. You'll be able to see the difference in the sanded part and the non-sanded just by the white. See the yellowing?
Mm-hmm.
You can see the wider section there at the bottom. Yeah, right there. That wider part is where I sanded it. There's going to be a little bit of that white that does not get sanded, simply because of the way the chuck is. But what I can do once I'm done is to take my 320 and I can sand that by hand just enough to whiten the little line that gets left. All right. It's almost even. There we go. It was. So let it move. Also got the wrong end in there. Okay, it's going to be close enough right there. If I'd have been on the ball, I could have had my 1/4-inch ratchet with the right size socket, and that would have been a lot easier than the screwdriver. But the screwdriver works. There we go. Now, I want to part off for the top. I'm just going to get rid of the top. I'm going to figure on doing a wood top with it from the very beginning. So I'm going to come in here and come in at just a bit of an angle, because if it goes straight, it wants to run off with the ball. So I'm going to go into it just a little bit. There we go. Almost through it. There we go. Back to my bowl gouge. All I'm going to do here is to start the hollowing process. What you can do is save that little cap that you part off, and then just adjust this so that it makes you have a nice receptacle for that to sit into. That's what I did. Let me get this 4-ball here. That's what I did with this one. Turn it around so you can see it properly. As you can see, that's the purple. It's the same purple. It fits right in there. It's not tight. It's loose. It could be just a touch deeper so it doesn't wobble back and forth, but that's all I did with that. I saved that cap and then made a recess because the color goes all the way through, I wasn't worried about it, turning white or anything. So it works very, very well if that's what you want to do. I just kind of determined yesterday that this is the way I was going to do it.
Doug, Billy's asking what those are made of. The ball.
I wish I knew. It's some kind of a resin. I would suggest you use your dust collection, especially when sanding. Let's see, I'm going to stop there because I want to put a little ledge just inside of the.
Okay, I just did a Google for you, Doug, and it says that billiard balls are made out of phenolic resin or polyester resin.
Okay.
So that would be the two products that they make them from.
That'd be the two primaries anyway, at least the newer ones, yeah.
Right.
If you don't get an old one. I did one, it was a one that came all by itself, just a loner. And it was dusty. It wasn't plaster, but it was some kind of white material, like some of the
now some of the older ones were made out of Bakelite.
Yeah, yeah.
So that may have been what you got a hold of there.
Maybe. This is just one of the many finishers from Easy Wood. Use whatever you want. I have these. I like them.
Polyester resin thing kind of blows my mind because I've never seen a polyester resin that resilient. It's really brittle stuff typically.
Yeah. I'm moving over to the for you guys who watch the guys in England, this is the #1 hollower. Quite a fuss with some of the guys who don't have one. And the guys who do are rubbing it in because it does move some wood, or in this case, resin, very quickly. In fact, what I want to do here, and get a nice divot. Yeah. I'm going to come over. I don't do this very often.
Hey,
this
Doug?
project is, yes, sir.
Quick question. I'm assuming because of the way it's mounted that you're taking very light cuts.
They're pretty light.
Yeah.
Well, that's still not the right tool. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. I'm going to take this is a 3-inch drill on a handle. I'm just going to run that in.
Once you cut the V out, why didn't you use the drill then?
I could have. I just always forget. I forget to do it, honestly. I'm looking in. Every time I pull out, I'm looking in to see how deep I am. I'm almost to the bottom of the number now. There we go. I pulled out some yellow. That will speed up this hollowing tremendously. I do know that the intent of all these Easy Wood tools, in fact, most all of your carbides, is that they sit flat on the tool rest, I am turning this up and pulling my handle up as well. So it's a slightly trailing motion that I've got. Plus I'm tilted on its side. This is a regular flat carbide blade on here, but it's acting more like a negative rake. Get some of that out of there. It's getting quite full. Well, there we go. All right, what do we got? We're not quite to the bottom of the hole yet. Sorry, you can't see. I can't see, so why should you, right? Now, one thing I will not do, I'll do a lot of things, but I will not stick my finger in there with it running. It's a good way to get your finger twisted right off. We're about halfway through the white section. Polemic resin, that's interesting. All right, almost to the bottom. Just got to clean it out now. We're almost there. Somebody recently just said, why in the world would you want that little small cutter? That little small cutter will flat eat some material really quick. That could use a little more, but I'm going to stop there with the hollowing. It's hollowed to the bottom, at least as far as where I drilled. So I'm going to move this out of the way. We're going to slow the speed down back to 450 and do a little sanding on the outside here. Said a while ago, this is more for cleaning the ball than it is anything else. I'm not really shaping. I don't want to, because I'm not reshaping the outside of this ball. I just kind of want to leave it as it is. I'm just cleaning it up more than anything. And if I start at 150, that will kind of break that surface and allow the other grits to do their job a little easier. I'm just doing the very opening here. I'll come back later and do the just inside the throat. This is a wee bit easier than a bowling ball. I do have a bowling ball over there that I'm going to do one of these days. I'm probably going to put it between the drive spindle and the tailstocks. No, I'm going to have to do a live center. I'll do a large, yeah, one of those things. Soft touch.
You did see Doug Rowe's demonstration, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Also know where his bowling balls came from. He said in one of his videos that he did on YouTube, he said that somebody had warned him about getting thrift store bowling balls, paying $2 for them or $3, whatever it was he paid for them. They've probably been dropped and who knows what else. And in his situations where his balls came apart, it looked to me like that's exactly what had happened. Like they broke at a fissure. They shouldn't do that. His first one came out beautifully. And then he had one that exploded for no reason. He left it on the lathe overnight and it was broken when he came back the next day. But I think that's what happened with it too. I think it had an internal crack. And when he had a little bit of pressure on it, it just gave way. All right, 240. But anyway, I've got a bowling ball. I've had it for a long time just for that purpose. I was afraid to use it for a long time. I had contacted 2 or 3 of the bowling ball companies. And they said that is not their intended use. Under no way, shape, or form should I think about putting them on a lathe. Well, that's all the more reason for me to do it.
Oh yeah, never tell a wood turn to don't.
That's right. Well,
Doug, they probably didn't know what a lathe was.
They probably didn't.
Didn't Carl Jacobson do that in a couple videos with bowling balls?
I think he did.
Yep.
Who knows with Carl? He may have gone out and bought a brand new one just for that.
No, he picked up some used ones, but he found out that they're not all made the same.
No, they're not. They're not. Every company has their own procedure, their own resins, their own materials that they use to weight those balls. Those balls are weighted a certain amount. Used to be, years ago, they used lead. That's really why I was calling. I was calling the bowling ball company because I wanted to know what their particular ball was weighted with, and the guy would not tell me.
Huh.
Let's see, screwdriver. That's what I'm after.
Like I said, this could go on up. The core of the Manhattan rubber had asbestos in it.
Yes, right. Yeah, it pays to check them out. And with the information that's on the internet today, you can find out a lot more than I could when I was checking on it. Okay, here's a great example. You can see right there the line very distinctly from what's been sanded and what hasn't. It's sanded on both sides. And that dark yellow line is a line where it hadn't been hit yet. But I can hit that by hand. Take my 320. And I can just hit that. It doesn't take a whole lot. Go across it at an angle, go straight up and down. Take 5-10 minutes and just sit here and hand sand it. Get your soft drink, cup of coffee, whatever it is. I'm not going to do the whole thing right now, but there you can see.
Could you hit it with white diamonds? You think white diamonds would buff it right up?
I did that with that 5-ball, and it gummed up. I don't know if it may be me. I've had trouble with the white diamond on just about everything. That's what messed up that walnut bowl. When I hit it with the white diamond, I have this black gum all over the bowl.
Yeah, white diamond is actually pretty abrasive. I would try like the blue jeweler's rouge that's used in buffing like CA finishes.
That or
Varnex.
Varnex, yes, that's what I was trying to come up with.
Yep.
Varnex would probably work a treat.
Yep.
I had given up on the bill system, and I kind of forgot why, and that's it.
Well, I use bill extensively, but and I use white diamond, but I just do very lightly with it, and it's only on certain woods. Some woods I won't even touch with it. I'll just go right to the wax.
Right.
Yeah.
Like walnut, typically do.
Yeah.
Maybe the triple E and then go to wax.
Yeah. And I almost never do
the
the triple E because I use the Axe wood paste system, so that takes care of that. So, but yeah, if you use white diamond on walnut, you'll have white all over it, and it'll never come out.
And as much as I love the Axe or any abrasive paste for that matter, you think I'm going to do it on that piece?
No.
That ain't happening.
I would think not. No.
I love and this is not a commercial, it's just what I use. I love the Axe paste.
Yep.
I made my own, loved it. I used Yorkshire grit. I loved it. I used Axe. I loved it. The abrasive paste and wax business is great. I love it. It's just some pieces like that wing bowl, it's not practical. You could do it by hand. You can do it by hand. You can even get some buffs to put in a drill. They would work. That would work fine. But it's just not worth it to me. That I did a lacquer finish on that. I wanted shiny on that particular one. There you have it. That's not shiny by any means. That's just a 320 grit. You can see the dark line is gone. And that's all the way around. That dark line is completely gone. But I can now, I can put that, I can make a jam chuck and buff that up. I can use my Axe if I want to. I can do all kinds of things. But that doesn't leave me with...
How about using carnauba wax?
Absolutely. That's, and carnauba wax is what Axe wax is.
Oh, okay.
It's been softened, but that's what it is. Or you could do carnauba wax on a bill buff. This is a piece of cherry I pulled out of the bin. The small pieces that haven't found what they're going to be yet. Bin. There we go. We'll make a lid out of that. Shouldn't be too tough. Nice piece of cherry. It has a little bit of figuring in it. I turned a piece, and this is just a little left over off of that piece. What I do need to do is measure. Get that over here so you can see it. This is about as much measuring as I do at the lathe. Come on, there we go. That's my outer diameter, and I'll get my inner diameter here in a minute. Once I get this, that one's too big, and that one's too, okay. Get my handy dandy bowl gouge here. Make sure we're not hitting. I'll crank my speed way up. Okay, there's 1250. And I think I said it last time, speed is relative. The only reason I say what the speed is because some people just can't stand it. They got to know what the speed is.
Turn most things at 532.
Yeah, yeah. Jimmy Clues turns at the speed of light. I have a hard time watching Jimmy. I love his work. I've had classes with Jimmy and really enjoyed what he taught me, but he scares me.
Yeah, Jimmy was at our club a few years ago, and when he started turning, everybody moved away from the lathe.
Absolutely. He did the same thing at our club in Louisville when I was there. He came and he put a 2x4 on the lathe. It would just fit when it swung around. And the first time he turned the lathe on, it was at full speed on a one-way.
Wow.
Whatever that speed is.
It's terrifying.
And the guys who had rushed in and grabbed those front and center seats, they got up and moved real quick.
Yeah, right. That's because they're smart. But I've never seen him have one come off.
No, he did not have it come off.
Nope.
And he made the statement, I noticed you guys moved back. That's good for you. I'm glad you'd moved. However, those guys, they needed.
I don't want to be the first one there when it does come off.
Right. I don't either.
Nope.
You and me both.
Okay, where are we?
So y'all don't want to be the catcher, huh?
No.
Nope.
No. That was before they kept saying, oh, you got to have a shield. You got to have a shield.
A club I used to belong to, it used to put a plastic shield between the lathe and the audience. And we had everything. We had 3 cameras watching the work. And the change in hierarchy, they said, oh, we don't really need that. The very next month, they hit the secretary right in the middle of the head with a bowl.
Mm.
Yes, sir. Yes,
but
sir.
They don't need that. You know?
No. Right.
I bet it came back.
Yeah. Well, I got to leave that alone. Okay.
Well, the nice thing about this club is everybody has a safety shield between them and the tournament.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
Amen, brother.
You don't even have to dunk.
I'm still wiping shavings off my shirt. Why is that?
Doug, why'd you do Captain like that?
I did these pool balls for the Louisville club, and that was still before I had to have the shield. But they did insist that I be an AAW member so that I'd be covered under the insurance for demonstrators, which is not a bad thing. There we go. Now that'll fit.
I have a problem with having. I have a problem with people wanting to be safe because of insurance. It's not the reason to be safe, folks.
I understand it. Yes. Yes. Seems like it was about a year later when they came out with the deal where demonstrators had to be behind a plexiglass shield. Which is again, that's a good safety issue. But at first, when you've not done that before, it can be claustrophobic for sure.
Yeah. And most demonstrations are now done with cameras, which didn't happen 20 years ago. So I remember the old days where people would gather around a lathe and you could hardly get a head spot in there to see what was being turned.
I'll never forget slinging CA on the first 2 rows right in front of me once.
Yeah.
You wouldn't do that on purpose, would you, Billy?
No, and I was so embarrassed.
And laughed all the way home, did you?
Well, no, I laugh about it now, but it wasn't real funny back then. Well, actually, it kind of was because everybody was laughing, but still.
Everybody was laughing but you at that point, right?
Just checking to see what we got. Okay. Got to make that second tenon just a little shorter. Too tall. Now, I'm sure you guys can't see it. When I was just making that cut just then, there's beautiful curls. Even though this wood is dry as a bone, nice curls were coming off. Now it's too big.
You must be doing that Mark Soleil slicing thing.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If your tool is sharp and you're slicing the wood, you get curls even though wood's extremely dry. What is hitting? Oh, I know what it is. It's this inside one. Well, come on now.
I don't know why it's not fitting. I've cut it 3 times and it's still too short.
There, now it should fit. Oh yeah, that'll work. Now, what do I want to do for design? Design's always the hard part for me. I guess it is for most folks, isn't it?
It is me. I want it to look like this. No, I want it to look like that.
Sometimes it'll decide what you want it to look like.
Sometimes.
Yep.
No, he's keep in mind you can't teach art, and it comes out of your heart. That's it.
Yeah. And I don't think it's not really the design, but making up my mind which design I want. It wasn't that long ago. Somebody said you can't get shavings off of dry wood. Well, yeah, you can.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, come spend a day in my shop. I'll show you.
It's what you call sharp tools and slicing cuts.
Yep.
I got some 100-plus-year-old wormy American chestnut you aren't going to get me shavings from. It's so dry, it's just dust.
Right. All right. Has anybody been watching the new Richard Rafin videos that have been on YouTube?
Yeah, I've been watching them.
Yes, I have.
I didn't know there was
really
new ones.
enjoyed them.
Yeah, he started doing them about 8 months ago. Got
Yeah.
about 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. I'll check it out.
I find it real interesting. He does 90% of his bowls with a spindle gouge.
Yep.
Inside and outside.
because the spindle gouge is cheaper than a bowl gouge.
Yes. And then he does the very bottom with a scraper.
The key thing there is for new turners, he does it with a spindle gouge, not a spindle roughing gouge.
Yes, exactly. Correct. And he does mention that in the video yesterday or day before. He talks about that. It's not a spindle roughing gouge. And why?
And there was a time when all they had was scrapers to do a bowl with.
Absolutely.
And I saw Brendan Simp a couple of years ago do in Australia do a bowl with just scrapers. It was just a phenomenal piece of work.
I watched Gorse Duplessis do a demonstration of Bayou wood turners, and he carried the tools that we're going to do this bowl or this lidded box. He carried them in his pants pocket, 2 scrapers. And you couldn't beat the work.
Yeah.
Reed Gray, aka Robo Hippie, he does some phenomenal bowls, nothing but a scraper as well.
Can't believe nobody mentioned my ring. Should have mentioned it. I typically take my rings off. I just totally forgot. Just noticed it because the gouge was hitting it. I'm just taking a spindle gouge and I'm working the inside of the very top of this. I've got a little knob on the top of this. Get my 240, just lay it in my hand. Would have been nice if I sanded that while I was on the lathe, but it's not turned so bad that it won't sand out by hand real easy. Then what I'll probably do, once my box is finished and ready to go, I'll shoot this top with some rattle can lacquer.
Very nice.
And that is
nice.
That is nice.
I like it.
Beautiful dog.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Followed almost to the very bottom. It doesn't lack much. Nice little cherry top. In fact, let me real quickly. I just happen to have a can or a little bottle here of Def sanding sealer mixed half and half with some lacquer thinner.
Secret formula 404.
That's it. Not to be confused with the cleaner. Well, that's 409, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm old enough to remember Formula 409.
Yeah, you got to get your formulas right. You know, it's going to cause all kinds of problems.
All right.
Now, Doug, that's a pretty nice piece you have there. Billy Dillard could probably make it into a birdhouse. I mean, Bob Moffat. Bob Moffat could make it into a birdhouse.
Make that number one.
Drill a little hole right there, you're done.
Yep.
That'd be number one birdhouse.
Billy, I bet Billy could epoxy it to his lathe bed.
Yeah. I'm never going to live that down, am I?
It's going to take a while, Billy.
Well, at least you realize that.
That's great, Doug.
Thank you, Doug. That's a beautiful piece.
Very nice.
Really nice.
About 45 minutes is all. That's not a tough project. You can knock those out pretty quickly.
No, and you were teaching us in that time. So and folks, you have to realize this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So if it takes a little bit longer, it takes a little bit longer.
Sure.
And and Doug mentioned the polishing off he did with the 320. The material that ball's made out of will shine like a diamond. You bring it up slowly with wet sanding it. I would wet sand it to about 1,000 grit, and then you can buff it. And you don't need a lot of resin when you buff it.
No.
So it's really, really cute little project. And I found them at the Red, White, and Blue dollar store for a whole rack for $7.
Wow.
That ain't bad.
I think my dad got these for me out of a antique shop, and they were like $30 or something. It was a complete set, cue ball and all. I've still got the cue and the 8-ball and 11 and something else, 15, I think. The others have been turned and mostly given away. I've got a handful of them here, but that's it.
Well, it's a good project for learning technique. It's a good project for holding. It will challenge your skill a little bit. And you learn how to do lighter cuts because you can't horse this thing around at all.
You'll pull it out of this thing real quick.
One of our chat members put in that he's seen people use that type of chuck, but covered, once it got tightened down, covered the clamps or I know the name of that clamp. Covered them with tape.
The hose clamp?
Yeah. The hose clamps. Covered them with the tape, like a black rubber tape or whatever, just to give you an idea. Now, that's not going to keep it from hurting you. No. It's just going to bring it to your attention. So, thank you, Doug.
If you're really concerned, you could take like a pool noodle and cut your strip out and wrap it around that, and then put some tape around it. That would save you some. You'd know it. You'd hit that pool noodle first before it bit you.
Yeah, but it's going to get you. All right. Thank you, Doug. We appreciate the demonstration tonight, sir.
Thank you, Doug.
Great demo, Doug. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Very nice.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you, guys. Eddie, if you'll go ahead and make me a co-host, I'll help out for the rest of the meeting.
All right. I think I did that, Doug, but I have to check. Doug Miller, you are a co-host, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
You're up there. Right. And I've been looking a lot at the chat tonight while I was watching Doug, and got me a little off kilter because I was trying to keep track of what was where. A lot of questions about hollowing rigs, and members are asking about the preferences. Would it be a captive arm system like the one that Lyle Jameson and a few other people manufacture, or would it be the elbow hollowing tool? Remember the elbow ELBO hollowing tool? And then JT Tools had one, and a handful of other folks have one. It is really what you have determined that you're going to turn, and what depth and how apt you are to doing this type of work. It makes it easier. It makes it easier to control. It keeps your blade from twisting when you're hollowing. You can adjust the angle of the cut. It's not always best to be flat. Angle of the cut to get a smoother cut. Many of them come with laser overlooks to guide you so you can see the outside wall when you do hollowing. I have them all. But my favorite was made by JT Tools. They're no longer in business, but it was very similar to the elbow, and it had the laser rig on it, and I could hollow things down to within Kade's standard of 1/8 of an inch easily, because I could completely control the tool and I wasn't harnessed in. What I'm looking for with all this chit chat, I'm looking for a demonstration on those types of tools. Okay, members, if you use either one and you like them more than the others, or whatever your preferences, we'd like to see a demonstration on it. Dane Chandler handles our lining up our demonstrators, but if you want to do a demonstration, you put it in a demo in a chat, and we will find you, get a hold of you, line it up. And what you just now saw with Doug Miller in Kentucky, he presented this with an iPhone. No multi-camera rig, no switch boxes, nothing else, with an iPhone. So it's capable for almost anybody out there. Now, we've got some demos. We've got some. We're open for gallery.
Yes,
today.
sir. Bob Moffett says he's got something to show.
Yeah,
Ruh-roh.
I'm right here.
All right, keep waiting, Bob. We
That's
have
me.
you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I made a deep bird bath. And
Yeah.
see, a piece of ambrosia maple. It's 6 inches tall and 5 inches wide. And
very nice.
It's got all sorts of critters on it.
Yeah,
just
there's a bunny, there's a duck.
There's a bird right there.
Little chick, yeah.
Y'all chasing off the new members. Y'all know this. Y'all chasing off the new members.
Well, somebody's got to pick up when Brenda's not
if
here.
Brenda was here, she'd just go crazy seeing this thing.
There's the
We've got some dolphins right here.
Yep.
Oh, cool stuff. That's very nice, Bob.
And it's got
That's really pretty.
edge, so.
You give them life preservers?
Yeah.
What?
You give those little birds life preservers when they go?
Yeah, I was going to ask them where the birds.
Tubes. They go tubing in here.
Okay.
Gotta leave it on.
I was real pleased with it.
No, that's beautiful.
Nice.
Beautiful piece, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. We're done. I got folks want you to ship it to them so they can fix it. All right. We're still doing gallery. Our gallery master tonight is Dean Grimes. He's being assisted by Doug Miller. If you want to show something, put it in the chat. We'll come to you. When they introduce you, you have to start talking so we can find you in this batch of 81 members who are in right now. Who's up?
I don't see anybody else right now, so we're wide open.
Really?
I'll go ahead and show a cup that I did and a spatula here, Captain, if you want to highlight me.
We got you, bud.
All right. So I had an old piece of wood and I wanted to do a pencil cup. And as I turned it, I realized the pith was right there where I wanted the outside to end up. So I just put some CA glue in there and left it. It's just a little bit of a, you know, kind of adds a little interest to the piece.
I saw the video on that. It looks great.
Yeah,
just a very plain little cup. And then I also have the wife wanted a spatula. So I made her a little spatula out of a piece of poplar. And,
She's gonna spank you with that thing, is she?
Well, you know, right now I can.
Okay, family show, family show.
She's got a pretty good right arm, so she can toss it too. But I've got a video on both these things, guys, and they're both super simple projects. But I'll tell you, if you make either one of them, you won't make just one.
Nice. Nope, you sure won't. And you can finish them with fruit oils or nut oils from Whole Foods and places like that. You can get a couple of different nut oils. They give them different colors.
Exactly. And now we've got some folks that have some things to show, Captain. We got Randy Smith.
Hi, Dean.
There's Randy.
I have something real simple to show. This is a 4-way screwdriver. You can buy this anywhere you want. And the small end, you pull this thing out. That is a 1/4 inch nut driver. And if you take the big end, that end is a 5/16 inch nut driver, which will fit, either one of these will fit most hose clamps. And it's a cheap way to get some nut drivers.
Good tip, Randy.
That's it.
Randy.
Thank you, Randy.
Randy,
yeah.
Randy, can you do me a favor? Can you speak to my post about the spindle bearing block and the heating up of the headstocks that occur on Laguna and Riken blades and Powermatics?
Yeah.
You know, when it's tight. Yeah. Can you explain that to everybody?
Yes. Lathes are adjusted so that the spindles do not have any play. The term for this is preload. In effect, what you're doing is the spindle is here. You take the two bearings and you press them together. The harder you press them, the less run out you get, but the headstock will get warm and sometimes hot. Some of them, they really adjust them to be very tight and they get really scorching hot. But it really isn't necessary. In metal lathes, the general rule with the smaller metal lathes is that you adjust the preload to squeeze the bearings until you can just lay your hand on the top of the headstock. They run the lathe at about full speed for about 20 minutes. Lay your hand on top of the headstock. If you can lay your hand there, you feel the warmth, but you can lay your hand there. That's the proper setting for the preload. The reason they make them, the manufacturers make them too tight, is because a lathe that has insufficient preload is a rejected lathe because there's too much run out. So they squeeze these things, and they also make the journals where the lathe, where the bearings contact the spindle. They make that journal too tight so that sometimes the bearings will actually slide on the spindle. So that's just a discussion of preload. If you have a lathe that gets hot when you run it real fast for a while, contact the manufacturer and ask them how to adjust it. It's usually pretty easy, and it's not a specific setting. So, but yeah, you can adjust that if your lathe is getting too hot when you run it at high speed.
And if you go to our Facebook page, I made a post on it a couple of days ago and wrote a little bit about it. Got a little bit of interaction back in. That's why I wanted to have Randy explain it, because he's much more eloquent in the terminology for it as opposed to what I wrote. But for Powermatics, I show in the manual and on the lathe wheel what you gotta loosen to adjust to make sure that it's not overheating, or to make sure it's not getting hot. So there's a lot of complaints about Laguna, well, especially Laguna, about the headstocks being too hot, and that's what the problem is. The spindle bearing has been tightened down too much. So anyhow, that's a resource and something for you to go look at if you're experiencing those type of problems with your spindle getting hot, because it should not be getting hot. And if it is getting hot, you're ruining your bearings. So yeah, that'll work. Thank you, Randy.
Yeah, the bearings wear out quicker if the lathe is getting, if the headstock gets too warm or gets too hot.
No, that's great information. Okay, let's go to Jeff Walters.
Hey, right here.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm going to show you a bowl. A year ago, the Detroit Area Woodturners, my club, did a gallery at the exhibit at the Starkweather Gallery in Romeo, Michigan. And I put a bowl in that actually I pulled out of the trash to do in the last minute, and I ended up winning first place. And this is the bowl.
I love it.
It's called the Happy Family. And what happened was I used my McNaughton coring system for the very first time and got down to the bottom, only had about 1/8 of an inch. And then also it got very hot and that crack occurred. And so I got mad and threw it away. And so what happened, the other piece I was working on for the gallery wasn't coming together. And I had like 4 days to go. And I was running over with my neighbor to Woodcraft. He's a carver. And they had a piece of bloodwood there. It was about 1 foot long, just laying off to the side. And I asked them how much for it. And they said, "10 bucks." So I grabbed the bloodwood, pulled this out of the trash, glued it on the bottom, smoothed everything out. Then I filled the crack in with black resin, and I put it into the thing and called it Happy Family, with a description of why I called it Happy Family. And this happened the very next weekend. So I'm very, very proud of this. I'm working on getting it framed up so I can mount it. So.
Congrats, that's awesome. Yeah.
Thank you. So, you know, there is no such thing as trash. I pull a lot of stuff out of my trash and end up finishing it. And we have, our club has a picnic every year. And one of the things we do at our picnic is a ceremonial burning. I've not had anything yet to put into it because I keep pulling stuff out of the trash and finishing it. So that's it.
Thank you, Jeff. Very much appreciate that. All right.
Hey, Jeff, I don't think you're pulling them out of the trash. I think you've got yourself a slacker stack.
Oh, there we go. I accept that. I like that better.
That's what it's called, slacker
Although
stack.
people are impressed when I say I pulled that out of the trash.
Those are pieces used to experiment your creativity.
Exactly. And then, you know, the gentleman who did the judging that night is a wood turner. I've never met him before. And he said afterwards, he says, so did you go through the bottom and make a funnel? I went, and I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to lose my prize. And I goes, well, no, it just got a little bit too thin. And, you know, and I decided to go elsewhere with it.
Good. Well, good save on that one.
Yeah,
Dane, you're still with us tonight. Greg is offering to do a hollowing demo for us on September 28th.
I've got him. Yeah, we talked. He's set up to do a demo, and so doing a hollowing demo would be outstanding.
All right. Well, I'll leave that up to you to line it up.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's already lined up.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, Dane's quick.
Boy, you talk about trouble. Oh no, don't talk about trouble. Wait. Who clicked on him?
Hey, Joaquin. You know that.
Put the head on that guy.
Yeah, the first thing I want to show and talk about is Glenn Darnack. You on here, Glenn? Or are you asleep in your easy chair?
No, I'm here.
Well, this is something Glenn. Do y'all remember Glenn making these little old gouges here? Down here, these gouges. Well, he was making a lathe. And he has got a list here of all the different pieces of wood that's in here. And it turns.
Oh, wow.
The tailstock moves. So the tool rest moves. And here's, you know, the box with a cord on it. We got magnetic here. And this was presented to me by the club, and I'm just so proud of it. And I don't know, I guess, you know, events coordinator and such as that. And Glenn made it up and give it to me. I am real proud of that and treasure that. And you did a fine job.
Yeah, that's great.
That is really cool.
Yeah, I saw that at SWAT. I didn't bother checking everything that moved, but that was just awesome.
It is. So thank you, Glenn. Appreciate what you did.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, I'm still on cloud 9 from SWAT. That was totally amazing. And, you know, I did the offset Christmas tree, and I did 2 classes. And the very first class, the WIC women come in there. I was nervous as I could be. They come in there and started picking on me, and they just broke the ice, and I was ready to go from then on. Sally Alton, Chris Lewis, and Linda Faber, and all of them. I said, what are you doing here? You got Mahoney going, you got Andy Wolf. Yeah, but we want to learn to turn an offset tree. Okay. So it was fantastic. And I did some presentations. I tried to do this drawing where you turned all the way with a 4-prong, you know, and you had to get back on point number 1 to part it off here, because that's where you started. So that was just an example of, and then, you know, we did one with the tenon on it, and which is a whole lot better. I'm going to I'm going to go to share screen and show you that. Okay, we open?
Yes, sir. We're ready.
Okay. Where are they at? Let's go here.
It's coming up. We're looking at your screen with several photographs on it.
Okay. All right. This is a 7 section one. It's got 1.5 inch offset on it. Each section is 1/4 inch off. I need to get something out of the way here. Oh, there we go. All right. And so, but I was demonstrating the 5 section with each point being 3/16 off, which will give you a 3/4 inch offset in the tree. So we're starting out. And one of the things we do with this is we find the center point and we go on both sides of the center point, where before I always found a center point and went way over here, you know. Now I had something really flopping, but with going on each side of the center point, this thing turns like a banana in it. That's where we're starting. And this has to be 3.5 by 8.5. Let's see, I missed a, where is the one? Well, I don't. Anyway, I also recommend when you're starting you to drill 1 inch hole, 1/4 inch deep for the 4-prong drive, especially if you're going with a 7-point sections longer than this, just for safety. I tried to meet, you know, the beginner, the intermediate, and the advanced turner is where I was trying to go. So there's our 5 sections. All right, you're going to turn you're going to turn your tenon here, the foot of the tree, and section number 1, all in one turning, which that's done there. And on my tenons, I do a little arc on them. So it's like a ball joint, because you're going to get a better fit locking down there with no 90 and no 90 here. You're going to get a better bite on that tenon. And then I also, you know, go ahead and make my mark where I'm going to come. You got to come back to number 1 to part it off. You know, otherwise you got to take it over to the bandsaw, cut it off, do a bunch of sanding. But with it clamped in your jaws here of the chuck, you can do it right on the lathe. Next step, and I use a spindle. I use spindle jaws, spigot jaws, and you can't buy them anymore. So I can make a longer tenon and have a better bite. But there's, you know, there's other ways to do it, but that just works for me. So I've got it in there. We're going to, set up for point number 2. We turn number 2. Now we're getting ready for section number 3. We turn section number 3. Now we're going to 4. We turn section number 4. Now on 5, I ended up turning off point number 1 and I couldn't go back there. But with the chuck and it shouldered up on number 1, I don't have to worry about turning all this off up here, because this is always point number 1, because the jaws of the chuck are going to fit up against the back end of the tenon here. And you don't want to take all the wood off. Now see where you got a taper started there, and you see this curve here. I'm trying to follow that curve on down and pour it out. Now I'm going to saw off this extra wood. I'm not going to worry about all the work going in to sand it. So we're going to cut off that chunk. Now I've cut off 3 sides. One on the back, and on each side I cut it off. Now it's time to sand. And there I've done the back side, and I'm using, you know, just a 3-inch arbiter with the a 90-degree drill. And I've got that back side all sanded. So here we are on point number, we went back to point number 1. It's chucked in your jaws. It's like a vise. You can sit there and work on that thing without it going nowhere.
All right. Joaquin, I'm not seeing all the photographs that you're talking about there. It might be on your screen, but not coming all the way up. You need to slide screen down or whatever. Grab that gray bar on the right-hand side and pull it down a little. Also can't see your mouse, so I don't know. Now I see your mouse. Okay.
Now is that just on this or all of them?
on this one.
No, I think it's on all of them.
I only see part of it.
All we're seeing is your folder with the pictures. You got to select the picture to bring it up.
All right. So what about now?
No, we're still doing the thumbnails. You know, the thumbnails.
Double click the photo.
That makes it bigger.
Yeah, I think, Joaquin, you're probably going to have to stop sharing, open up the photograph you want to share, and then share again. Because it's just sharing the original folder. When you opened up the image, it didn't share it.
No kidding. Golly.
I think this would be a good demo for you, Joaquin.
I do too.
I think he should just do a demo.
That you've already had all this practice.
Well, I wouldn't mind demoing this at all. I tried to do something for the Michael Clarkson today, and I didn't have good enough signal and kept losing signal. And so I'm gonna have to do something about that. But
Hey, Joaquin, did they save your demo you did for us at SWAT? Can you get a copy of that?
Well, they used to do that. I don't know if they're doing that anymore or not.
I know they videotaped you on the whole thing, so they probably do have a copy. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever room you were in has a copy of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and your club can buy a whole copy of all of the demos. That's what our club's going to be doing. We buy a whole copy.
Well, we used to do that, and we got the library. We've got about 350 videos, and it got where nobody rents them anymore or takes them. They do everything on YouTube. And well, I have to work on something. I will send these pictures to you, Eddie.
Okay.
And somebody they can look at them on the website.
Good deal.
All right, that'd be very much appreciated.
We got a couple.
I have to tell you, I was blown away. I was in I forget the club, Gulf Coast. They asked me to autograph their lathe. I said, "What? Me? You want me to autograph your lathe? Are you kidding me?" Yeah. And so I went over and autographed it. I looked next to it. Here's Jimmy Clues. Here's Stu Batty, and here's Alan Lacer. And I said, "What are you doing asking me to sign this lathe?"
Only celebrities, Joaquin. Just celebrities.
They probably had Elvis autograph that lathe.
If y'all want to see Joaquin getting beat up by a large green bowl, there's a short video clip of that on my SWAT synopsis.
I think I got that too.
Yeah, I think you have some too, Dick. It was outstanding.
Thank you, Joaquin. Very good,
they
sir.
They probably want you to put your name next to Elvis.
It's a highlight for sure.
Thank you, sir. All right, we're doing a gallery. If you have something to show, please go to chat.
We got a couple of folks. Captain Mike Morris said he's got something.
Mike, speak to us.
I got something I wanted to show, but I also have a question for something I keep having an issue with. And when I turn, I get all these little cut marks in my stuff. What is causing that? I mean, they're not consistent, you know.
Okay, who's going to jump on this one?
This is a little. You can't see it?
Yep, I'm going to hang my hat on their tears.
Mm-hmm.
But wouldn't it be a consistent like this without moving that? I get these little places. It ain't the same.
Could you be riding the heel of your bevel on there?
Well, I don't know. And that's what I was asking, you know. I'm not a real experienced turner, so I'm trying to figure out where I'm making these little mistakes at, you know.
So what's going on is the heel, you're riding the bevel and you're pressing too hard with the tool. And that's what's, so it's compressing the fibers.
Oh, okay.
So on your
instead of cut.
So on your gouge, do you have a secondary bevel ground on there, which is which I highly recommend, or is it just the straight bevel, straight off the grinder?
Yeah, it's a straight bevel, straight off the grinder.
So, right, so I would assume you didn't use the Wolverine type system. So you're going, you're setting your gouge, 1 3/4 or 2 inches. So after you sharpen it at whatever that setting is, go ahead and extend it another minimum of 3/8 of an inch in your setup, right, and put it back up there, and that'll allow you to grind a secondary bevel. And so that'll reduce the snag and the catch of your bevel, and should allow you to cut better as well.
So it's more in my tool then.
Yeah, well, it's more of the tool, the way it's set up, and then the amount of pressure that you're applying onto the gouge itself. So
because you're actually
bruising of the wood.
I was wondering about that as I was bruising it. Yep. One other thing too, guys, if you can see this right here, this is that purple wood. What they call it?
Purple heart?
Purple heart. Purple heart, there you go. And I don't know if you guys know it, but if you put heat on it, it'll get darker and darker.
Yep.
So I know when I first turned it, it was kind of light. And so I'd seen somebody put the heat on it one time. And so I put the heat on it, and it really gets dark.
Yeah. If you like, I can show an example of what Dane is talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'd like that. Would. See,
yeah, that'd be great.
Talk to me.
Hey, everybody. Kade
hey,
here.
Kade.
Turning in my shop, getting dirty, covered in roasted ash.
Right, I can smell it here.
So if you only grind your tool with one bevel here, you can see it comes to a very sharp corner right there.
Right.
And as you come around that corner, if you have a lot of pressure riding that bevel, actually here, I'm going to take my earplugs out so I'm not yelling because my baby's sleeping. So we can see here we have that sharp edge.
Right.
And that is only a single bevel. So if you have a lot of pressure as you come up and around that curve of that bowl, as you arc that tool to come around that corner, that sharp edge on the bottom of your bevel will bruise and create tool marks in your bowl or your box or your spindle or whatever you're turning. So what I do with all my bowl gouges, this is a spindle gouge, and I don't really put a secondary bevel on this tool because I use it in a different way than a bowl gouge. But with a bowl gouge, we can see here, I have my initial bevel, but then I have a secondary bevel that relieves that sharp edge of the single bevel. So I sharpen this with my one-way sharpening jig to the angle that I desire, which is at this angle on the wheel. And then to create my secondary bevel, I just bring it up slightly like this, and I do one more pass with the jig to create that secondary bevel, which will actually eliminate the bruising caused by that sharp edge that creates tool marks in your bowl that you're constantly like, what's going on? Why? I'm riding the bevel, I'm having a good transition, and I'm still getting tool marks. I'm closing the flute, I'm opening it more, I'm still getting tool marks. It's because of that sharp edge on the back of your bevel. And you can see the difference right there.
Right. Yeah. Okay,
See
well,
how
I'll try.
rounded it is?
Yeah. Right.
Rather than this one is very sharp.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what he means.
Well, thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Kate. Appreciate it, sir. Now,
Yeah,
I learned that trick from Ellie Avacera at Airmont probably 15 years ago. And Ellie showed doing the same thing, relieving the back of it. I call relieving it. When I used to manufacture a Blackhawk sharpening rig, I had 2 pins for you to set the one-way pivot gizmo or whatever. I like the Wolverine. I had one point that you set it in to do the Ellsworth type grind, which is elliptical grind or the Irish grind. And then I had another location a little bit closer to the wheel and a little bit lower. So when you moved up and set it in that one, you would relieve the back of the grind exactly as the elliptic will be the same. And you just make 1 pass or 2 passes. Not every time, but the beauty of it was when you did it with that little fine first cut, you would only be cutting with a bevel that's about 1/8 of an inch across, which means you can do a whole lot with it. Now, novice turners will rely on the bevel to give them guidance. You must understand what the bevel does and where it goes, and that guidance is normally right here. It shouldn't be the tool. It should be here. And but I'm hoping next week I can get the Blackhawk up and show you what we're talking about. It's right back in here, and we can actually grind that for you and show you that on a 3/8 bowl gouge. I just have to find a gouge that I haven't done it to so far, because I'm doing it on all my tools, really, except my roughing gouges. And I hate the term roughing gouge. I really do. Let's take it down that road. Names. All right. We're doing gallery. If you have something to show on gallery, throw it in the chat. We'll get to you. It's about 30 minutes before we pull the plug on it tonight. Anybody got anything to show in gallery, please?
Mr. Howard King. Where is
Talk
Mr.
to us,
King?
Howard.
Hello. Hello.
Okay, got you here, buddy. Let me spotlight you. There you go, Howard.
I got a little bitty holoform, and it's Bradford pear, and I put 1/8 inch beads on it. I've done this demo a few times for the club, and so what's interesting though, I don't know if you can see those speckles on this Bradford pear, which is pretty unique. I hadn't seen that before on Bradford pear. Can you see that?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yeah.
So that was in the wood?
Yes, that's in the wood.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so anyway.
Very uniform beads. Very uniform.
Yeah,
very
very
nice.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful piece.
Thank you. It's oil finished on it. But what was striking was all these little white specks. Had never seen Bradford pear with that before.
Well, a unique version.
Exactly. That's a beautiful piece there. Thank you for sharing.
All right. Thank you.
Now, we do have an events calendar in the club. And if you have an event coming up, you can send in information to our master webmaster, Dave, and he will add that information to the calendar. And it's free, and everybody can be part of it because it's sharing information. But if you put it in the chat, before you leave tonight, save the chat, because there's a lot of things we talked about this evening, some links to websites, products, everything else. Chat is a free-for-all. You can go there and put that information in there. It's because we're not being sponsored by somebody. We're trying to help somebody, you. Now, someone called me this week about getting a membership list. I can't help you with that. I don't have a membership list. We don't have a membership. It's worldwide. But our webmaster, and he loves that title, he has created a members list. Now, this is the list of information that our members voluntarily offer to the organization on them. So if you want to say, hi, I'm Dean Grimes, I'm out of Texas, my email is such and such, my phone number is such and such, my address, whatever you want, non-commercial, you can put all that information there, or you can just put Dean Grimes and your website, or Dean Grimes and your phone number, or whatever you want. Dave will take and put it on our list. How do you get a list? Contact on our website, all right, on our webpage. On the top it says members list. Click on members list, fill out that form. The password is capital CAPTAIN, or subject, I'm sorry. It's CAPTAIN. And then fill out the rest of the form exactly as it requests. Uncheck click boxes and all this stuff, and then submit it. And almost instantaneously, you will receive a PDF of the most recent update. And if you think, how can I get this updated? That's the way we're doing it, because it's almost bot proof. Almost bot proof. And I tell you, since I started following some simple rules about bots and advertising, my spam mail and my spam phone calls went way down. No. They're so high, my phone probably won't answer them. Don't call. But we have a members list. All right. Who's that sneaking around in a mask up there? Oh, that's
Looks
Kade.
like Darth Vader to me.
Yeah, that's Cash's daddy. That's what it is. That's Cash's daddy. He's not the terrible twos yet, right, Kade?
No, he's 14 months on Friday. Flew by. It's crazy.
Yeah, still playing in water puddles out front. So, all right, we're okay. Thank you, sir.
He had a heyday the other day. We went for a walk. It just rained, and he found like 5 puddles along the way. Forgot my phone at home, though, so I didn't get photos, but next time.
All right. Thank you.
You know, Captain, Kade just shared a valuable lesson with all of us. And folks, you only have 2 lungs. So take care of them, protect them in the wood shop. I guess that can be our safety thing for tonight, is just protect yourself. And I can tell you, it didn't take but just a little bit sanding that walnut the other day. I'm a little bit sensitive to it. And I didn't have my respirator off more than just a couple of minutes out there before I left the shop. And darned if I didn't get sinuses running and a sore throat there for a couple of days. So
yeah,
just keep that in mind and protect yourself. Your family loves you a lot and they want to keep you.
An old carpenter foreman of mine told me one time, if there's a hole in your body, that trash is going to get in there. Eyes, nose, ears, mouth, whatever, it'll get in there. And I used to love to see folks when I go past the job site, I know where mine is, and you'd see guys out there and they're hauling trash out and all this, and they're wearing that dust mask right about there, you know. and I've never figured out how they got that hole in their head to breathe out of. It must be right next to the pair of safety glasses that are on there also. So if there's a hole in it, what we fool with is going to go in there. And almost every species of wood known to man has got some allergic action to somebody. And if you don't know it, be careful. Learn about it. Look up wood species and the types. You look at the warnings. We've had it in our gallery here in the past where you can click on and go to this website and that website. Don't get scared to death. Just get scared deceived.
Just get smart.
Yeah, that's great.
It. Beat that drum all day long.
The wood database is a great resource for researching woods. See their toxicity. I mean, no dust is good, especially in your lungs, but especially toxic dusts or sensitizers, because they can affect your brain, your cardiac, your blood, your allergic reactions. There's so many types of woods out there, and they affect us in so many different ways. So take the proper precautions.
Not to scare you, just to warn you. And there's some drugs, some exotics out there that folks can't fool around with. But what's not an exotic is mesquite. And I've known turners that can't turn mesquite because their hands are too sore the next day, or their cuticles get swollen up, or. So there are allergic reactions to all this materials. Just want you to be careful of it, please. And this thing about COVID. All right, COVID almost brought this entire nation to a halt. It almost brought the whole world to a halt for a while. Mm-hmm. And one of the main things they came up with, and I was loving when I saw this on TV, is people not washing their hands before they made contact. And this, I still see the bumping when I'm at the gym and in the daytime. People don't shake hands; they'll bump knuckles and stuff. But it was washing their hands that got my attention. If you're going to turn wood, go out right now and turn some wood. You'll come back in and eat dinner, put the plates on the table or whatever. Wash your hands. Mm-hmm. You know what these things bring with them? They're bringing them more crud and crap than you imagine in your life.
Yep.
And wash them off, clean them off, and pay attention to that, because what you may bring in, you may not be allergic to, but the next person may be highly allergic to it. So let's take a little bit more care about it. I got a kick out of the hand wash the thing because I was a contractor for years, and I worked for an architectural firm, and we had all these public schools. I worked in hundreds of public schools around New Orleans. And the big blurb on the thing was, in one public senior high school in New Orleans, there were only 2 working basins in the entire school. All the rest of them broken, the drains broke, the water, So don't tell me they were washing their hands to prevent spread. They were just barely getting through. If we all washed our hands and protected our breathing, we'd be a whole lot better off. All right.
Captain, we got Tom Kenny has a tip to show.
I was looking for that. That's all right. Go ahead, Tom. Talk to us, Tom. Tom, we hear you breathing.
No, that was
Where
me.
Is he? Oh, that was Billy breathing.
Darth Vader.
All right.
Yeah, I don't see Tom.
I don't see him on a list any longer.
I got him.
Okay. Who's got him? There he is.
There he is.
Okay, good deal.
Sorry, I was not unmuted. Circling back to that idea about putting a secondary bevel. Let me get this out of the way. On the Wolverine, I went to Home Depot and they give out little samples of corian. And when I did my initial sharpening, of course, my jig was in the crotch here. When I went to put the secondary bevel on, took the little piece of corian and I stuck a rare earth magnet on the back. If you just stick that in, that's going to push your one-way jig forward enough to where it puts a beautiful secondary bevel on there. And then when I was done, I would throw it on the floor. But it was a real no-brainer. I don't know how I came up with that idea, but it works.
That's an excellent
tip. Since then, I bought this thing, Don Geiger sold this system that had a pin with a series of holes in it, and you could actually put 3 extra bevels on the back of it, but I found that too much of a nuisance, so I went back to the corian, but it works.
That's a good tip.
Well, that's a great
idea. Great tip.
Thank you.
I'd rather not. I throw enough stuff on the floor. I'd never find that thing.
Yeah. That's where the rare earth magnet comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be in trouble in my shop right now too, Cap.
Yeah. The other day, the nurse at the hospital said, "Do you have any trouble falling?" You know, I can fall in heartbeats getting back up the ditch.
Hey, Cap.
All right, who else we have for gallery? Go ahead, please.
I don't have anything for the gallery, but one of our members noticed that I sound a little kind of off. I didn't want to get everybody all bummed out and down when we were talking about how good SWAT was, but we had a slight casualty. Wasn't feeling real good when I got up Monday morning, went in and tested positive for COVID.
Ooh.
So, but I'll get better.
Sounds like a lot of people got COVID there.
Oh, really?
I heard.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard.
Johnny Hughes got COVID.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Huh. I had not heard that. I was hoping I was the only casualty.
Well, I hope you have a mild case and get over it pretty quick.
Well,
Yeah,
it's nothing like what I had the first time. This is Omicron, and it's like a bad sinus infection and upper respiratory infection rolled into one. But like I said, I'm getting better. All my vitals are still good, and I'm not coughing as much today as I was yesterday. So we're on the upswing, folks.
Now you still got your beer.
Good. Thank you, Billy.
Yeah, push the fluids, take your Tylenol.
Oh yeah, I'm down in water like it's going out of style.
Hey, Billy.
I've had it 3 times.
Any consolation, you sound like Barry White.
Sound like Barry White.
There you go.
Yeah. When's the next album coming out? Okay. Thank you, Billy. All right. And we can't. The people talk about like the COVID's gone away. We can't lessen our care and lessen our shields. My wife is the primary caretaker for her parents in their 80s, and she's got a rule: if they're going to go someplace, they're going to wear a mask. If they have somebody come over, they're going to stay away or they're going to wear a mask. And one of my in-laws said, "You're just coddling them." No, at that age, it could kill them.
You're protecting them.
At your age, it can kill you.
Oh, absolutely.
So let's bring our shields back up, as they would say.
Yeah.
Your friendship's too valuable for me to lose. How about that one? All right. Good luck to you, Billy. Keep in touch. And look, if you're sitting around, you could be planning projects and doing this and do that.
I got a million of them going on in my head right now.
Okay. But, don't go out and start chiseling epoxy off your lake bed. That wouldn't be good for you.
No.
Right now. We teased Billy. If you didn't join us last week for the meeting, there's a video on it on our website, and you'll see what we're talking about. We kid about everybody. Remember, we're on the tailgate out in the parking lot. We're sharing, teaching, and lying all at the same time. Scott Hampton says he's got some projects coming up. They're going to be on his YouTube channel. That's in the chat tonight, so please save the chat before you disappear. And if you want to be in our contact list, you can also put that information in the chat. Dave, our webmaster, will remove it from the chat before he places a chat on our website for availability from everybody. And I said everybody. We do not have a locked down website. What we share, you share. What they share, we share. And that's just a fair way about it. I produced a promo tonight for the club. I put it on 2 YouTube channels and 2 Facebook channels and a couple of private channels because it can be done. If you've seen our promo, you will see our promo. Do me a favor. If it's on Facebook, YouTube, or wherever, share it with your entire channel. Share it. Because I'm not talking to your Uncle Bob or the guy down the street or over there. I'm talking to you, and I'm asking you to pass the word. Just like we passed the word last week with all those great guys who passed out our business cards at SWAT. We need your help to make this organization grow. We already have the world's greatest website for wood turning. We're trying to bring everything else up to that level. All right. You have anything to show or a tip or whatever tonight? Jump on board.
Oh, since I threw Joaquin under the bus earlier, he's gonna have to show us a bowl here before too awful long. That big green bowl that I filmed him getting beat up on, he bagged it up and he took it home. So he's going to be finishing it one of these days.
Billy, I want to tell you, I really enjoyed you being there. Billy, I didn't really know Billy, and he just come up to me and introduced me to himself, and we hung out a lot.
Yep.
He come around taking pictures of his video. It was really great. Good to meet you, and you did a fantastic job. You and Dean also was out there taking videos.
Yes.
We had a lot of fun.
It was a pleasure meeting both of you.
Yeah.
And many others. And I think we've got some of the people that got business cards at SWAT may have been in the meeting here tonight. They just hadn't spoke up.
Yeah, I ended up putting 4 turners over there with old Paul. Turned one of them when I found out I got to take that home. It was great. He's a fantastic turner too.
Oh, he is amazing. Yeah. That's going to be a pretty bowl.
Yeah, for those of you that turned on that lathe, you may not realize that's a homemade lathe. And Greg Gonzalez made that, and we lost him to cancer a few years ago. He started bringing that lathe to SWAT many years ago and setting up and letting people turn. And so Paul bought that lathe from his wife and continues to take it out there to continue the tradition. And so thanks guys for participating in that. And just a way to keep things going, keep memories.
Really is.
Yeah.
I just saw a note here from Jim Spalding. Jim Spalding got one of our business cards and is joining us tonight. Welcome, Jim.
Yes, welcome.
Welcome. Yes.
For sure.
And Jim, tell a
friend of mine, I'm not sure if this is his first meeting here or not. Chris Nealon from Connecticut is also in here tonight. I saw him earlier.
Welcome, Chris.
He was also at SWAT.
Good. Chris said he got 2 cards. Okay. Y'all double down. Y'all double down on Chris.
Double down on him.
Hey,
It's a tag team.
I give my card to Ann Wook. She didn't know about us.
Oh, wow.
I gave out a bunch. I give her my card. I told her to come on over. I know she's a busy lady, but she's fantastic.
Yes. And they all bring a craft. They will all bring a craft or a technique. I was talking to a lady who's been with us for a while, and she has made a couple of meetings, and she's caught the little demo tidbit that Dave put on our channel, on our website, about the dot painting. And she was just fascinated by it. She says, "Oh, do you know how many mistakes I can cover up with dot?" That's not what you're supposed to do with it. If it works for you, that's fine. But no, it wasn't to cover up the mistakes. It was to enhance the project. But if you got, how many mistakes I can cover up with that? I wish I knew about it 25 years ago. I'd have less in my burn pile. All right. We have a few other things coming up on chat tonight. If you have something to share, come on, jump on board. We got about 9 minutes before I pull the plug. We got to get out of here, or we should get out of here. Somebody said they want to share something. They had I got to go way back to get this.
Miss somebody?
David Kingsley. David Kingsley.
Yeah, that's me.
Hey, David.
I'm right here.
All right, let's go back.
That's
There he
me.
is.
Yeah, I saw a really neat trick this week. Someone was mounting a very unbalanced piece on their lathe. So what they did is they put a live center in both their headstock and their tailstock, and they used that to find the mounting points to get it to balance so that they could get some speed out of it.
Wow, that ain't a bad idea.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, that is kind
It was.
That's it. That's
okay. Well, thank you. That is a good idea.
Yes,
I think have we all kind of maybe cheated that way at one time or another, putting a piece in? I saw, so I don't want to say it. I saw somebody carrying a hat at a symposium type or a conference or a class, and they put it between two dead men or two blocks, and to spin it. And they actually put power under it at one point. And talk about one for cover. That's when you really want to be out of the line of fire, like 3 blocks over to one side. You do those 2 pins, and I've got what he's talking about. Do not put them under power. That's a hand roll thing, so you can see when you get the piece balanced. And if it's not balanced and you got to dance with the lathe, you got to fix something. Because Brian Harrow's an old friend of mine, and I asked him one time, how's it going? He says, I'm chasing my lathe all over the shop. It's never stopped since I got here. Just keeps walking. You know, I figured he'd learned about how to balance, but you know, and I got him that lathe free. It was from Hurricane Katrina. It flooded. The guy said, I got to get rid of it. My insurance company said I can put in for a new lathe, and they'll come take a look at my old one. And I said, but I think it's destroyed. And he got a one-way out of it. And it was a Powermatic that we took away. Good move. All right. I just saw somebody else popped up to show something on gallery tonight. It wasn't Joaquin. And I lost it that fast. Pardon me, though. All right.
I'm not seeing it, Captain. So if you've got something, just holler.
You can bring me up if you want to. I got a couple.
There he is.
That's
I saw it earlier. There he is.
I haven't said anything, but I thought I'd bring it up a little bit. Seemed to be pretty slow. Before the spot, I didn't get the opportunity to go, but before that, Joaquin demoed his leaning Christmas trees at our club, and he made up a little flyer showing how to do it with the directions on it, a cheat sheet. And when I came home, I decided that I would try to make it follow in the cheat sheet and not my normal instincts, the way I do things. And so I made 2 of them, and they come out pretty good. I did one between centers and one with a tendon on it. And I'm real comfortable doing things between centers, so that's probably how I would do it. But the tendon works real good also. And I don't know what the wood is. It's just plywood, something that I found. That's one of them.
Yeah, that don't look like a lampshade.
This is the other one. I don't remember which one I turned which way, but like I say, I'm comfortable going between centers, and normally that's just what I would do. I wouldn't measure and everything, but I wanted to do these to see how his sheet was working, and make sure I didn't find any discrepancies in it for him to go on the thing. So they came out pretty close.
Yeah, they look good.
They look good.
Appreciate that, Terry.
That's what
They must have been in the same windstorm.
Huh?
They must have been in the same windstorm.
Yeah. I seriously think that this Christmas, the Facebook is going to be flooded with these trees. I've really got a great reaction and sent out a lot of information on Facebook. Really a lot of inquisitive people wanting to do it.
Yeah, that was really a fun project. Another thing I did was back a while ago, Joaquin was showing me how to do a 5-point bowl. And I showed you how I did one of those, but it wound up with 6 points on it. So that was a little math problem I had. I kind of got that straightened out. So I thought I would try it again. And my second effort went worse than the first one. I don't know what I've done so much end grain turning. I can't believe I made such a stupid mistake, but I went uphill instead of downhill and got a catch and busted the ears all off of it. So I already had it hollowed out. So I went in and made a John Jordan style base out of it. It's a piece of mesquite. It's about
that's nice.
Maybe 7 inches tall.
That is gorgeous.
And it's probably 3.5 maybe wide in diameter. And one thing I really don't like about it is the top opening is a little too big, but there's nothing I could do with that because that's where it broke. So that's as close as I could get it back. But that's kind of what I did out of it, just trying to save a piece that I
Great
was doing.
recovery.
Yeah, I'd say you did an excellent job of recovering on that one. That's
You
good.
sure did, Terry.
So it came out pretty decent. And they were talking, somebody was talking before about a piece he threw away and got a ribbon on it. I have one that I threw away about 5 times, and it took me 5 years to finally pick it up off of the floor and make something out of it. And it also got a blue ribbon as a show. so that was a pretty good save. But other than that, I haven't been doing a lot. Been playing around with some things and not much. I ran out of wood and I went wood hunting 3 times and came back dry all 3 times. I got little pieces and I have a hard time going back to little pieces since I've already got several hundred of all the little ones in this shelf already. But I'll get back to doing something pretty soon. Maybe
I got 2 pieces over here, Terry. You need to come get them.
I might need to do that. I might need to bring the truck over and rob you.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, members. That was
That's
really
all I got,
nice.
guys.
All right. One more reminder, folks, save the chat. That's where I'm going right now. The little 3 dots on the side on the lower right-hand corner. It says save chat. Saved it. It's going to be on my computer. It can be on your computer. It's free. And you get it and get all the information you need from tonight's meeting. Also, this will all be posted by our webmaster onto our website really soon. There's no big time delay and wait for this and this and this. It's done. Dave takes it, edits it onto the website. And I saw 2 notes from members tonight about the website. Folks, if you're not going to our website, enjoying what we have there, you're missing out on the world's greatest wood turning website. Boom. End of story. World's greatest wood turning website. And this is a voluntary effort by one of our members, but he needs your support. Now get this. All we want to do is get your photographs, your ideas, your sketches, your plans, your details, whatever you would share with the other guys on the tailgate of the truck. Whatever you think they need to know, we need to know. And we just want you to share with us, send it to our website. Dave will share it with you. We have a fantastic gallery, tips, hints, everything. I mean, if there's something dealing with wood turning, it's on our website. Thank you, Dave. Fantastic job. With that, it's 1 minute after the top of the hour. It's that time of the evening when we have to say goodnight. And above all else, please be safe. Take care. I'll see you back here next week.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night.
Take care.
Billy, I hope you're better soon.
Get
Thank
better,
you.
Billy. Get better,
Thanks.
Billy.
Yeah, Billy, you did a great job, man. Take care.
Thanks, Joaquin. I'll talk to y'all later.
Better, Billy.
Good night, everybody. Have a great week.
Good night, Mary. Good night, Mary Ellen.